Hi, we're here in Costa Mesa, California, meeting artist Daniel Oropeza. And Daniel, why don't you say hi to all our friends in TV land out there?
Hello, everybody out there. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for letting us come in here. I met you, Daniel, a couple months ago over at the Beverly Hills Art Show.
Yes.
And it was toward the end of the day, and I was tired, and I stumbled around a corner and stumbled into your dragon and was like totally mesmerized. So my first question, I probably wasn't the only person that had that experience. So I sort of starting in a weird place, but can you tell me, I mean, what kind of responses were you getting from people that day from your work? It must be phenomenal as an artist to see that happen. So tell me a little bit about
it was very validating.
Yeah.
Very validating. This particular technique is my own, and to see so many people enjoy it and wonder how it's done and wonder what in the heck I was thinking when I was making this. I was really amazed at how many people and the response that I got from how many people really loved the work, and some of them didn't even know that it was for sale. They thought it was out of a museum, and I was just
to show
incredibly, it was just there to show, and I was very flattered.
Yeah. Great. So Daniel, we're here in your studio. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happening here in your studio? I'm going to do some wide shots. So why don't you just give us sort of a general description of what your playground is, and then we'll take us to some of the specific stuff, and we can go from there.
Well, certainly. In the far corner here, you're looking at a steer head. The glass that you see on that steer has been poured and fit through a hosel. And the glass that you see on the front here has been poured right through the metal. The glass is fused from the metal right into the metal at about 2,000 degrees. So the glass and the metal become one. And this piece can also change color or completely turn off if I want it to. Let's do something complementary, or depending where it is in the home. So there are several pieces put together here. Everything is welded together with bronze, as you can see here. So this is a highly patinaed piece. And down here, lower, the Day of the Dead, this is glass poured right through hand-cut metal. So all of this has just been cut by hand, and then I place light around the piece so that it can glow. Here.
This is one of the things that, as I was showing people the different pictures that you had sent me that day a couple weeks back, the faces here, the different colors that you had, and the big question was, is that the sheet metal that's doing that, or is that lighting, external lighting that you were using?
The pictures that I sent you was external lighting. Mm-hmm. So because this piece here has so many cuts in it, I decided just to paint it blue. But no matter what light I had on it, whether it was red on top, blue from the bottom, white from the side, all the cuts will reflect whatever light it's catching from whichever direction. Mm-hmm. So we have an overhead light that's white, captured in parts of this piece, reflecting different colors of blue, and the shadows that's facing down is obviously going darker.
So it's almost living.
It is absolutely living art. So at different times of the day, it looks different colors. And if I make it strictly aluminum, stainless steel, then it'll capture whatever evening light you have in your home, or controlled light if you'd like that.
So did you stumble upon
I certainly did.
Yeah.
I certainly did. I love lighting. I absolutely love lighting. I think it changes everything in any situation. Mm-hmm. So how I make my pieces, I have light in mind at all time. What you're looking at here is a fish I did for NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Organization. This was done for the Jacques Cousteau people up in Northern California, Monterey, for the Blue Ocean Film Festival about 4 years ago. This is all hand cut, and then glass is poured into it, fused into the copper. All these pieces are put together separately, put together with bronze. All this is hand done. None of my work is done with the machine other than what I can put in my hand. There are steel rods running right through the glass. Some of the pieces have pieces of colored glass inside it. All of this moves, and this is just made to rock, you know. So it's just a way to show, you know, movement. So that's what I like here.
The fact that that can move,
yeah,
is
certainly.
And then your representation and how you are, the movement that you have in here. As you look at these different pieces and what you've done.
Certainly.
So you use so when you say you're not using any, things aren't being manufactured from?
No, everything's done with, it's very, very old school. I bend the metal by hand. I go see my friend John Oakes, and a phenomenal glass artist, and I asked him, you know, what can I do to my metal to make this more interesting? I said, I want to use glass. And he says, let's use copper. So different thicknesses of copper melt at different temperatures. So I found a thickness of copper that melted at the same rate the glass did. They fused together. I was able to weld the extruded parts of the copper, the pieces that were sticking out, to each other, and then I started to sculpt with that in mind.
Oh, that's
without cracking the glass. Without cracking the glass.
So that's a pretty amazing sort of. So an alchemist. In sorts.
Funny, that's
yes?
what I've been called many times.
Yeah.
You know, that's quite flattering.
Well,
sure,
I mean,
but I mean, I will try anything. You know.
Well, beautiful. I mean, because
Sure.
in artistry, when you're centering yourself, I don't know how you can call yourself an artist if you're not exploring. Right?
I agree. I like staying on the edge, and
Right.
most of I feel like every new piece I start, something occurs to me that I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and that's the exciting part.
That's beautiful.
Because I bring my experience of the last piece, of course, with me.
So, in the scheme of things, where do these first few pieces that you've shown us, where do they fit in your lexicon? I mean, are those more recent? Were they?
Well, these were my initial pieces were sold, but these were the pieces these were my aha pieces. These were the pieces I said, wait a minute, I've developed a fabric of welding, and what you're looking at here is drops. This entire body is made of drops of steel. This is not cast. Every one of these pieces is drops. The bronze dots on the overlay I put on there to show expansion and contraction of the coat, this fabric that this dragon is wearing. This piece took me 1 year and 3 months to make because it was a labor of love. And doing this piece was so cathartic, and then doing the Phoenix, of course, which I absolutely love.
Look at this piece, folks.
So this piece here
It's incredible.
is something that I absolutely loved. I love doing. As you can see the back and the sides. You can see the lacing of the feathers up on top.
Okay, we're going to get a good cut. I'm going to make sure I get a good shot of this because that is really a beautiful piece, folks. I hope I can see it through both monitors, and that's just stunning.
So this is something that I just loved doing.
Wow.
And this is my seminal piece. I mean, people love the dragon, don't get me wrong. I love the dragon as well. But every single piece of this bird I designed, from the eyebrow to the beak to everything that I wanted.
Wow. I'm going to put this up a little higher. Get to 4,800. Give me a little bit more light in here.
So
Beautiful, the glass and what's happening with the glass and
Yeah, so this is
color.
the phoenix, obviously the coming from fire and the ashes, and then developing into, you know, only going one direction with determination. There's no going back.
no going back. Let me swing around you, get a frontal shot of that. That's just, through that monitor it's a little tough to see, but through the camera monitor you can get a real good shot because I'm using this for focusing. But beautiful. Let me get around here. So when did you do this? How long ago?
This I did 3.5 years ago.
Wow. And in terms of time?
This piece took 6 months. After doing the dragon, I had a good handle on what these materials could do to the extent that I knew what I could do with them.
Right.
It is still a mystery what these materials can do and what more I can do with them. But the melding of glass, copper, bronze, steel, creating textures. I'm in a world that I've created my own medium out of curiosity. I am not a genius and said, I know what I'm going to do. I am just an explorer, knowing where I need to go where no man has ever gone. My inspirations to doing art, I wanted to be a sculptor in clay, and I realized that when I had that pug in front of me and I was working with clay, that I kept looking to other great artists and say, wow, someday I'm going to be him.
Yeah, right.
Well, I didn't want to grow up to be somebody else. I needed to explore and go someplace. So I realized that every time I wanted to do something new, somebody said, you can't do that. And I thought, thank you, because you can't do that became the pointer. And I kept going. So where is creativity where nobody's gone? Where is the next market where nobody's gone? I need to go where nobody has gone. And I may go and turn around, but I love what it is I'm stuck with. I consider myself, in some ways, you know, I burn the ships when I land on a new idea.
Beautiful.
You know, I'm going to stay here until I master this.
Right. You know, it's interesting. One of the artists that I interviewed for the opening of my gallery in April was a gentleman named J.P. Wright. And he's a photographer and paints on top of his photography. Really interesting work that he does. And one of the things he was saying was, in his search, he wanted to be able to find his voice where if he walked into the room, you could look at his work and say, I know that's a J.P. Wright work because this,
Correct.
this.
Yes,
you
I
know?
get that.
And
yes.
so that, I mean, you walk into a room and you see this work and I've never seen anything like this. So,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct. And as far as I know, it has not been done, maybe bits and pieces, but the combination of these pieces is strictly my flavor. My flavor.
Tell us about, now you have some other things here that are completely a different approach to
Right.
what you're doing, so.
Right, so these pieces here, this is of course all hand cut. These are screens that are easily movable. They're more of my modern art pieces. Again, like this big blue piece, but this piece here, this is all hand done. They're very, very strong. They're great room separators. I can paint them any color you like.
Well,
I can even tell a story. I
do you
use a
cut
plasma
that?
cutter.
Plasma.
I use a plasma cutter. It is a fantastic device that, for lack of a better definition, it's like a laser. It's a hand cut, and it just cuts as fast as you can.
Oh, really?
as
So you can use it free flow? I mean,
Absolutely. I use it in my hand, and it's like using a pencil. So I draw, and I've learned how to make patterns that will not fall apart. They're very, very strong, and I can create moving parts like I've done here, like I've done, you know, here, where I can actually make a lot of, you know, where I can take a flat. This was one piece, one flat fabric, and I can start to bend and turn and move these pieces, and then catch light here or bend it or bring light here depending on what my situation is, I can move it. I have these on here for traveling, but this whole piece moves completely with the wind if it's outside. So I love that.
And again, almost there's a flexibility, a livingness to the art that, to the environment, it reacts to the environment around you.
Right.
That's interesting.
Right. So let me show you a piece here. So this is a maquette. A maquette is an idea board. So this is something I want to do for a hospital. So we made these cuts on here, and then we're going to do something large. And I too will push those pieces out as I've done here in this maquette. And we'll show this is done on stainless steel, and all of these lines will be pushed out with a hammer to simulate the extrusion of the muscles. This here is pretty much a storyboard. This is wind turbulent. This is the kite. And on the back of the young man, it says "Just Begin." And this has been my story. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know that if I begin, that's an okay place to start. And I may have to ask somebody a question, and then I go further and ask another question, and then ask another question. So,
but you're not afraid to ask those questions that continue the exploration.
Yes, yes. I've learned that if I trust my effort, I don't have to worry about my ego. So I trust my effort, and my ego will step aside. So instead of thinking, I don't want to ask because I don't want to be wrong, I don't want to look stupid, I don't want to not know something, I realize that the only reason why I'm an artist is because I don't know something.
Right.
And so I move in that direction. So we can come over here to this piece that I'm working on now. This is a piece I'm working on for, Pipeline to a Cure. It's for the cystic fibrosis. And what I've done here is that I've made this huge piece. It's all copper. All the lines that you see are put in with wire. I put a wire behind the copper and I hammer it with a rubber mallet, and it creates this movement in the copper. Now I will be placing glass over these pieces here. So I'll give you an idea what that looks like. I should have had this out. So this here is a piece of glass with metal in it, and I've put steel inside to reinforce it. So the glass that I'm going to be doing will be coming off of this piece like this.
Right.
And so there'll be a lot of glass all over this, making this look like a wave. This is quite a huge piece.
The weight of that's got to be extensive.
Extensive. So all this glass could be 300 pounds. So what I'm doing here is I have to make these frames. And these frames I put metal in here, and then I just pour the glass in, just like this, and I smash the glass down, and then extrude it. I pull the glass while it's hot. I only have 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then when I'm done, and I cleaned it, I slip everything back in because it already has its place.
Have a spot.
So all of these things that I make have their spot, and these are all pieces.
So they're already set before you set the
They're
glass.
all set. Everything's designed first on a piece like this.
That makes sense, because you can't hammer it when it's set there.
Exactly.
Right?
So once all of this is made, and then I just fill in, I cover the empty spaces with copper, and then I finish that off. And the frame is quite extensive.
So do you have to contemplate, I mean, even before you have your piece finished, you have a base, you have all this weight, so at some point you have to consider what the finished product is.
Being as you have it back here, this is how I do it. So it's all triangulated. All of this is done, everything is done to support it. I can hang off the front end of this.
Wow.
I can hang, my entire body weight can hang off the front.
So wait a minute, so now you're an engineer because you have to deal with that.
Yeah, it's amazing what mistakes can teach you. So yes, so all of this is triangulated, and it'll carry my weight on the tip. I know, it's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, so lots to think about here.
Lots
not
to
just
think about.
Allowing the artistic side, you literally have mathematics.
Yes.
And so with all those math students who are in high school and college thinking, I don't need to take my math classes and things of that nature, what would you tell them?
Oh gosh, I would say, if you need to learn how to make something structural or you want it to stay up, best to ask somebody who knows, you know, who can help me. I have asked many people, and I can't tell you how many people have added to the success of my art, from electricians to welders, little ideas, architects, the ideas that come from people, and I love it. They don't know, they'll tell me that, wow, that looks like something, and I'm thinking, God, how wonderful to see my art through the eyes of someone else.
Right.
And someone may open a window and I jump through with all the things that I know, and I am into another world that I thought, how did I get here?
Well, that's a beautiful thing, like you said earlier about the ego. If you have ego, when somebody may suggest something to you, it's a block, because like, you know, I'm a pro, I'm a professional, who are you?
Well, if, you know,
instead you're saying,
if
well,
I
great
believe
idea.
I'm good at something, I'm probably not going to challenge myself, because a belief that I think is true may not want to be challenged. I believe I'm moving in a direction that continues my curiosity. So
you think that if you were giving advice to younger artists, because part of this story is, you know, we want to reach younger artists, get that insight from people who have created, who've sold, who have a business, who survive as artists. So in that realm, what kind of advice would you give, you know, younger artists?
I wouldn't worry about being sold as much as I would concern myself to listen to that voice that says, I like that, and then build from that. Art is such a beautiful thing. Everybody that creates their own art, it's a way of creating their own voice. And when other people dabble with children's voices too early, they could become confused and forget that voice that's inside them that says, this is who I am. This is my signature. This is what I say looks good. And very often, I think someone who's creating is probably creating the piece that they're making, but they're really 2 pieces ahead. I'm looking at the piece that I'm making, knowing what this will become in 2 more pieces. Oh my gosh, with every mistake I make, I think, oh my gosh, I just made a mistake, but where is that mistake going to go?
Right.
It's going to go in my 3rd piece. And then I say, well, how do you like this piece? And I'm thinking of 2 other pieces that this is related to, and someone else is looking at this going, well, it's fine.
Right.
You know. So if I ask in the opinion of someone, I have to make sure that we're looking through the same window. So I'm telling young artists, develop your voice, develop your opinion, ask yourself, do you like it? Do you get excited? Did that give you the chills? Did something about what you just did and you moved it, did you like it? Did something light you up? Build from there. But your art is yours. Your vision is yours, and it's right now. It's in real time. It may change. And when you ask somebody, what do you think? Don't forget what you think.
Really, really, really important.
Don't
Extremely
forget
important.
what you think. And if it adds to the voice that you have down here, then honor it and say, great idea. I'm going to do that. It's still your direction because it's still your choice. Everywhere we look, I incorporate ideas from everywhere. So I'm choosing what to take in and what to use, what to manipulate, what to create, what excites me. Everything's my choice.
And the whole world's I hate to
Everything's
say
my
that, your
choice.
oyster, because you can
Everything's
take
my
anything,
choice.
right.
Everything that stimulates me is my choice as I incorporate it into what I do. And that's what I'm living for. My art makes me come alive.
Well, this is stunning work, folks. I've been wandering around the United States for the last 5 years, looking at art, talking to artists, and I have to say this is probably some of the most fabulous sculpture work that I've seen in the 5 years I've been running around the United States.
Thank you.
And I am so happy to be here in your studio, Daniel, and that we are beginning to develop a relationship, and that Daniel's going to be putting a few pieces in our gallery at RSP Creative Studios in Galt, California. We're really excited to have Daniel up there. At that point, we're looking at the end of July, end of July, which is beautiful. We have a major concert that's happening.
You do, and I'll try and get up there before
It'll be
then.
great to have your work
Sure,
there.
sure.
Because we really are trying to get people to understand and experience the whole sort of idea of art. So the painting, the sculpture, the music, the food, all of it.
Right.
To really stimulate. Well, it's just let's have a grand old party and explore. I'm a big explorer like
That's
you.
wonderful. That's wonderful.
I love, my background was in theater initially, actor first, director, became really, really comfortable in directing and good at it, and helping actors to unlock. And one of the things I found about actors, they were all afraid to really brainstorm or to explore.
Of course.
And they had all these sort of discs in their conduit of creativity. And my job was to find what those discs were, slip them out, so that ability to create, like you are saying, I'm going to go with that moment. Yes, this thing happened. It's not going in the way. And well, okay, let's follow that and see where that takes me to the next domino. The next thing you know, you have this incredible piece, far from where you began, because you were willing to sort of, go with the flow of it. So
and going with the flow to me is boldly failing forward. Boldly. Hurry up. You're going to make mistakes. Hurry up.
Hurry up and fail and get
Hurry up.
Beautiful.
Get it going.
Beautiful.
Get it going and get excited.
So people want to see your work, and they're in the LA area. Is your studio
Absolutely
here available?
Absolutely open to whoever would like to come.
Can you give me the specifics in terms of if you were to give them the address or website?
I'm located in Costa Mesa, California. So that is at the end of the 55 freeway off the 405 freeway. So if you're coming from LA, you would come down the 5 to the 55 freeway. If you're coming down the 405 from LA, 405 to the 55. I'm at 1041 West 18th Street, Costa Mesa. You can reach me at 949-650-6169, DanielOropeza.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. Folks, there we have some great museums in Los Angeles. I've lived in Los Angeles for 27 years, just recently moved up to Northern California, and there's some amazing galleries and museums here, but this is the type of stuff you really want to get involved in. So if you are visiting, contact Daniel, and trust me, it will be an experience that you won't get in many other places. And one last thing, don't forget to bring the checkbook.
That's great.
Anyhow, this is Dr. Robin Scott Peters with Arting About, signing off with Daniel Oropeza.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.